right. All the balls are free.
All balls are free.
Incoming transmission. Download complete.
Hey guys, welcome to the Bradcast show, Last Action Report. I'm here tonight with Randy, who played his first online broadcast tournament, and he got to play for free. Just a reminder, new players get to play for free until they place in my tournament. So if you are worried about spending the money or for whatever reason it just isn't in the cards to uh, spend all this energy and time, it's free. And you can do one round or you could do all three rounds. It's uh, however much time you want to invest in it. It is up to you, but I think you should try it out just because it's fun to punch people in the mouth, and it's fun for me to get punched in the mouth. I like getting my ass kicked because it's cool to see what people come up with, and I like getting surprised. And tonight, Randy surprised me with his team. I've been gone from the game, from the scene for a few months, and people are talking about Randy's particular team that he played tonight. Maybe not specifically what he played, but they were talking about detective keyword. That detective is something that should be considered as competitive. And I looked at some of the figures, not all of them. I didn't do a deep dive because I'm slowly working back in. But I was like, I don't really see it. I mean, the Batman Lantern Prime is kind of neat, but but Randy, he uh, built this team, and I liked looking at it on paper, and I loved it even more watching Randy play, just because there were all these things that I just missed that was should have been obvious, or maybe it's not so obvious. It just Randy was doing some really cool tricks that I thought was neat, and if I played against him, it would have confused me to try to come up with something. So, Randy, thank you for coming onto the show.
Yeah, Brad, appreciate you putting together the event tonight. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be every Friday as long as I can help it until Worlds, and then I'm going to take my break again. I like taking breaks, uh,
Yeah, I
but
can understand that.
but yeah, I love playing competitive. I love getting new people to enjoy competitive because the online community or the competitive community period is generally fun to be around because you both are on the same page on what kind of fun to expect. Whether or not your team works the way that you wanted it to, or you just didn't have a good day, is a whole other thing. Uh, but yeah, it's just great to be around all these people that are trying to have the same kind of fun as you. So can you tell me from top to bottom what you played tonight? Your maps, your main force, your sideline, what you assigned to who, uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
your tarot cards, everything that you played, and then we're gonna go a few questions into it
Okay.
after that.
Uh, so I built the team, the detective team, with the new set coming out. I really liked the Green Lantern Batman figure and the Martian Manhunter piece. Uh, Specifically, both being pretty good at tying people up and slowing some opponents down a little bit. And wanted to see what I could put together with that. And started looking at detective. Looked at the Batman and Catwoman LE. Really liked it, and brought Venom Wolverine out, which I think this keyword having so much support in this new set really brings some life back into Venom Wolverine outside of just and
Monsters
X-Men, or
or
yeah, I
X-Men.
know Monsters is taking a hit over the past few years. From what I understand, I've been away from the game for almost a decade up until Disney Plus. So, uh, and then brought in Commissioner Gordon and the Chase Batman as well. And so
To clarify,
this,
Commissioner Gordon, the legacy one, right?
yeah, Gordo,
Gordo.
Commissioner Gordo, the misprint.
Hmm.
And so he is the cheapest free TK figure, I believe, right now, and really gives some mobility to the team.
Hmm.
And then so with as far as objects, I really wanted to focus on a couple of weaknesses like Venom Wolverine not having a lot of mobility, ignoring elevated and all that. So I put the cape on her, and it worked very well. I was very happy with that. And then her having team player able to copy Green Lantern team ability and
Great
carries the
combo.
team all over the place. That was
That's the cloacal levitation, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
And then so Batman Chase, I put Captain America's shield on him to give him ESD. His biggest weakness is at range. If he's outside of hindering, he's not too terribly hard to get through, but he only takes one damage up close. So that's if I can keep him forced into that situation, that's what I would like to do. And then, of course, the Green Lantern Batman had the Green Lantern ring and the new Bat belt.
Mhm.
And so that's pretty much the team I put together. I played all three games. Let's see, I won map
Oh,
twice.
but we'll talk about your games. I want to go
Okay.
over what you played, what was on your force. So, what about your
Okay.
sideline?
Yeah. So I had Scrappy Doo Chase on my sideline, and then had Deadpool from Empire, the call-in Deadpool, and a Scroll Spy.
That Deadpool is the one that if a monster dies, he gets to come in.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So had him specifically for Venom Wolverine.
yeah.
And then I played a slew of the new mystery cards.
A
And
lot of them are super interesting, and I'm gonna guess right here that they all worked because for the first step of the mystery card, because they all had detective keyword.
yep, that is correct. So they activated all the mystery cards, and it gave me a lot of options to adjust to whatever I was coming across.
Uh,
Specifically, I played the
yeah,
Manu
tell me
Laugh.
which one. Tell me all the mystery cards you played with, and then tell me which one was the best one
Yeah.
overall.
So the Man Who Laughs, Which is Which, Foul Play in Funland, The Chest of Demons, Murder in the City Enduring, and Stakeout. So I played quite a few of them. My favorite one by far was Chest of Demons. It's the one that activates and gives you Protected Mystics,
How do you
which
activate it?
perplex. So you perplex an opposing character, and you get a mystery marker. And after you get 6 on your card, you get Safeguard Mystics and Mind Control,
Oh, very
which
cool.
in this meta, being
Yeah,
able to beat on Wonder Woman or somebody with Mystics
Mystics
without
is
having
very
to
good
take
right
it.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also, like Safeguard Mystics, the Soul Sword doesn't do anything.
Mhm. Yeah, it doesn't do a darn thing.
Yeah.
Uh, so that one was your favorite. Was that the most useful one?
Uh, well, in the last game it was for sure. The so which is which wasn't bad either. That one, the one that you can. It's also a perplex activated on opposing characters, and then you can re-roll. Basically, gives you a prob on a opposing shape change once per turn.
Oh, you can make
So
them re-roll their shape change.
yes, so that one came in pretty handy in
Cool.
a game as well.
And which one that you think was going to work the best before you even played with this team?
I really thought Chest of Demons was going to be a great one. It really, with the games I played tonight, it only came in one game. So really thought that the meta would be a little bit different.
Were any of them disappointing or it never came into play? Was it?
Yeah. s- So I never put anything on Foul Play and Funland. Just I don't know. The situation didn't come about. That one gives you basically scroll team ability. Friendly characters shape change on a 6.
Okay. How do
And
you
I
get
just
how do you get there?
it's also a perplex, and that's where
Okay.
some of the issue comes in is that you have to choose which card you're going to put your token on in these situations, and
Is
so
that so? I
yeah.
thought, and I'm gonna have to look into it. I thought you just get to do all of them. You have to pick it.
No,
You have to pick
yeah,
one
they
card.
specifically state that you have to pick one per activating action or whatever. I don't know how exactly it's worded, but
That's balanced. I love playing balanced stuff.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm glad that they actually thought that out a little bit. So yeah, understandable. And the maps that you played, what maps did you play?
I brought in Otherworld Castle, which is that's what I selected both times I got to play. I also had the new Danny the Street map. It's
Hmm.
got a lot of elevation on it, but just I didn't feel that it was the right one to come in with in any of the games. And then also had the old Krakoa with a lot of the hindering.
Hmm. That's a great one. With that mound in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites that I played for ever since it came out, just because it's so open. But and then you played some heavy objects too, and you
Yep.
had a +6 theme team of detective. All right. So that was your team. Uh, uh, I wanted to talk to you because you were my favorite team tonight, and it was super cool and interesting. And I think people should be looking at this team. Even though you didn't do so hot record-wise, I think that there is a lot of potential here. Whether that's the same stuff that's going on here, or it's something that you need to tweak, or and this is the one that is the risk assessment. Uh, I think personally that you can play whatever team that you want to and bring it to a competitive tournament. But the caveat is that you have to recognize what are bad matchups, and you, uh, typically you want to try to play a team that has the least amount of bad matchups, or the team that is going to work around the most popular bad matchup. And for me, I always want to play whatever I want to play, whether it is all the meta stuff or it's something super weird or something I think is just neat. And uh, with that said, I have to recognize that there's going to be probably some bad matchups, and I just hope that it doesn't come up.
Yeah.
Uh, and if it does, I gotta try to figure out a way to at least score something so I don't just get a zero loss. So with the team that you played tonight, before we go into your matches specifically, uh, is there something on here that you, from the figures, the objects, the maps, the sideline stuff, or even just your basic objects? Did things work the way that you want, or is there something on here that you need to maybe take another look at,
No,
or
I think that yeah, I think the team worked really well. I've got to get used to it just because it's a team that's got a lot going on. So it's a little bit hard to keep up with, especially for a newer player like me.
okay,
But I think with some more time under my belt, I've really got a way to answer a lot of different things. I would almost say like to the point of an X-Men swap where I can have an answer for many different situations I find myself in.
yeah, that's what I was getting excited about your team. I was like, oh man, this is great for this the team that he's playing against. Is like the barrier or the smoke cloud or the mobility from Venom Wolverine and Green Lantern on the cloak or the rings are just fantastic. They're a way to make you not have to play Molecule Man or Jubilee or whatever terrain erasers there are out there with the fire hydrant. I don't know if that came up for you tonight, but I saw a lot of other games tonight, and the fire hydrant super useful, like I thought it would. Even though everybody else still had access to barrier with the what is it, the stop sign? I think it is.
Yeah, stop
Yeah,
sign gives you some access to barrier.
yeah. Even though you might have 2 or 3 rings of barrier, your opponent also has access to the multiple fire hydrants to cut through that barrier. Yeah, it's just really neat that while you may not get to do everything that you want offensively or defensively, it allows you to interact with the other team. And to me, it's just something I'm going to talk about in my next podcast with Paul and Joe is meaningful interaction. That is what makes a fun Heroclix game. When the not just interaction where you are always doing something, but meaningful interaction where you're allowed to interact and get points or start working on a dial to have a chance and those rough matchups or equal matchups. But yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a later episode, which y'all are welcome to listen to if you don't mind hearing my voice. Yeah, and did Scrappy do ever come into play? Uh,
Yeah, he did once and immediately got yeeted out of there.
is he a may or a must for him coming in
He comes in. Uh, he's a May. He may
as a may?
generate. Yeah.
Uh, Going forward, after that, would you have brought him in, or would you still take the chance of bringing him in?
I would not have brought him in on that action. I actually thought that my opponent's actions were over, and brought him in, and not the best time.
Yep. Yeah, he's scrappy, but he can still get yeeted, like you said. Uh, but yeah, I think he's super interesting. And yeah, I want to talk about your matches.
All right.
The first round, do you recall who you played against?
Yeah, Mr. Reddick.
Caleb Reddick,
Yeah.
unofficial world champion, 2021. Great player, very competitive. Uh, did you have fun playing against Caleb?
Yeah, it was great. He was a
Uh,
great opponent. Very gracious to a new guy like me, and actually gave me some pointers on some stuff on the roll 20. So really appreciate that.
Caleb can be very helpful, even though he's also super competitive. But yeah, he's a great, nice guy, and I love playing him and talking to him. I enjoy talking to him more outside the game. But he's just a really good player and good person. Do you recall his team, or would you like me to go over it for you?
Oh no, I recall. So it was a animal themed team, +8, I believe. He had double lockjaws, double maggots, double chips, and Cosmo and High Evolutionary. And out of that team, Chip was the only one I'd ever seen on a map before. So that was pretty surprising to see.
Yeah, all those figures are great. Animal is a great keyword, and it had its heyday, and then it took a dip. And I think it's gonna, with the new Batman set, it's gonna probably try to make another comeback before or half of that rotates.
Yeah.
So yeah, Uh, we can either do it one of 2 ways, depending on how interesting you think it was. Where you can go by turn if it's quick enough, or we could just do like a highlight, like a really cool play, or something that you didn't see, or something that you liked, or that you really hated. Uh, Whatever you want to do, and I'll roll with it.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can do I guess a couple of highlights from the game. So Uh, Started out, he moved up about halfway across the map. I don't recall the map name that we were playing on, one I'm not familiar with. Um,
Was it like really open or really closed up?
it was kind of closed up, a lot of blocking with the starting areas in the two corners.
Okay. Hmm. So he won map then.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
he won that.
Yeah,
And
he had a +8 to your +6 or +5.
yep,
I'm gonna guess it
and
was negative zone or a Latveria. Latveria has all these like huge squares of blocking, and negative zone has a bunch of walls. With
yeah, it was
like blocking that you
Latveria.
can't destroy.
Had to be Latveria. It was a lot of like blocks of blocking terrain around the map.
Okay. So he
So
took
yeah,
you to Latveria,
he
moved
took
up,
me to
and
Latveria, moved up with carrying with Lockjaw, as you do on a Lockjaw team
mhm.
apparently, and had some great positioning. I got way over aggressive and tried to come in and take down a Lockjaw right out of the gate, and couldn't get it done. Uh,
Really, he's so easy
yeah,
to hit.
yeah, yeah, I know. And so didn't go my way right there, and then really kind of got my whole team out of position, and I could not keep up with the mobility that he had. I
Yeah,
mean, that was
yeah, the
just it was
chips,
so
the
much.
maggots, the bystanders, the lockjaws. It's crazy mobile.
Yeah. Now I will say that the Green Lantern Batman did work pretty well with his free smoke that ties up opponents. I
Okay.
got that down on a lockjaw around turn 2 or 3, and kind of caused him a little bit of trouble having to work around it. He's a great player, so he
Yeah.
definitely found a way to work around it. And then having Martian Manhunter's outsiders on a maggot where he can't call in his pogs, he can't take free actions once he's been outsiders by Manhunter, really
Uh-huh.
kind of changed things a lot too. So that I would say that that's two of the things from my perspective that worked well on my team. I would really like to have taken out that other maggot, and it would have been a totally different game, I think. But I just could not take care of the other one, and it was just poisoning me to death and landed several hits with the exploit pog uh, to the point that he had a total team wipe on me. So
Yeah, true damage is typically good, especially if you can get across map and have great mobility,
yeah, and
to help mitigate defenses and that Martian Manhunter. People forget about poison because really it's only Maggot, the bystander that does it, that can
right,
really do that. And but that's I think that if you're going to play him, the Martian Manhunter, you should always expect maggots to be played in a competitor tournament, just
right,
because
yeah,
they're fun to play with X-Men, with animals, and non-theme teams. He's
and
just useful for what he does.
he's he's the figure that I played specifically for maggots. I didn't expect to see two of them on the map. I'll say that much.
Mm,
But drawing a maggot, I think he's great. Saki Iron Man with the outsiders really nerfs him down quite a bit.
sure.
So that's one of the reasons I really wanted to start building a team around that figure.
Yeah, I think he's interesting. Just probably gotta think of ways to help protect him. And I like doing that with Mad Jim. I think Mad Jim is probably the way to go with Martian Manhunter, in my opinion. Just an idea. I don't know if it'll work, but just I like giving Martian Manhunter options, just because Pulse Wave is accessible to a couple of
Hmm.
figures, especially that asshole Sicarian Iron Man. He can also pick poison, uh, and that can make things a little rough for Martian Manhunter.
Yep.
So Caleb wiped you. Did you score any points back, or was it just 300-0?
No, I killed one of the lockjaws and a chip.
Okay.
So
Yeah, the
scored a few points.
lockjaws have deep dials, so it takes some work.
Yeah, I learned that. I wasn't familiar, like I said, wasn't familiar with the figures, and I really pulled up and looked at Lockjaw with such a deep dial and just made an assumption that he was worth a lot more points than 30. I was, yeah. So
yeah.
lesson learned.
hmm so round two, you played against another person, and this was Luis
Lewis.
Reyes.
Yep, Lewis.
Uh, Great player. I think personally, he's one of the top 10 players in the game. He's very smart and very well practiced. Just someone I always enjoy playing with.
Yeah, so he played Saint Walker and full point Darkside.
Yeah,
Darkside had the Carnage symbiote.
weird.
So yeah, that was an interesting team. I was actually pretty nervous about Darkside. So
hmm
I won map, took him to Otherworld Castle, and with all the elevated, um, and open and turn. He had great placement over on one of the tower tops, and got some barrier down with that stop sign. And then I went to the top of the castle, and he had a perfect line and killed my Commissioner Gordon
Not
right out of
Gordo.
the gate. Yeah. And after that, I was able to get across the map and get in a position to start duking it out with Darkseid a little bit, and then was able to take down uh, Saint
Walker.
Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my Venom Magnet or Venom Wolverine, and really shut down a lot of mobility there. Once I got to that point, I was able to start getting the just tie Darkseid up, and he just couldn't go anywhere. I
Hmm.
will say that the which is which card came in very handy. That's the one where you re-roll a shape change, and
Oh, okay.
so obviously with the Carnage symbiote, it made a huge difference.
Oh, that's right.
And
He had it equipped on Darkseid, right?
yes, so I got around a couple of shape changes and was able to just work Darkseid down, and
Wow.
I think I KO'd Darkseid with a couple of minutes left. And I mean, it was just a brawl. He just couldn't get away, couldn't phase away. I had him blocked up to where he couldn't get off of the tower. So,
Mm.
uh,
That's awesome. Yeah. He it looks like he's hard to tie down top dial, but you seem to work past that stop click.
yeah, I think there's a big missed opportunity with that dark side. That I think it if he had a stop click down around where that first impervious click is, he would
Hmm.
be quite a bit better on the 125 dial.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think the 250 dial is something that's going to work. He's not that hard to take down.
It's tough playing something that's a lot of points so that you sink into it, because this goes back to what I mentioned earlier, where it's matchup dependent, and it'll have some good matchups against other OMAs, I think, with everything that he does. Uh, but right now, the meta is that there's going to be the majority of teams are going to be able to multiple attacks and have high mobility, so it'll be hard for him to run away after he scored some points. And he has to score probably at least more than 30 to 40 because of whatever support that you want to put around it. And I'm looking at his speed right now. The phasing is good. The outwittable phasing is good. But if you get past that stop click, he's stuck. And sounds like you did.
Yep. Yeah, that was the key is getting past that.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
wasn't easy, but uh, on the Batman that you talked about with the ESD,
Yeah.
I do not care about my defensive stats. Does not matter if it's a 12 or if it's a 22. Eventually, you're gonna get hit, whether
Right.
it's the first attack or the 30th roll. And there's all these attacks being made, all this prod being made. And you played that Martian Manhunter that uh, shuts off increased combat values. There's the tarot card that can shot off replacements, and also combat values. And it's
Hmm.
just, I really don't care about defensive stats, but just because people have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 attack. Uh, so for me, it's all about the rollouts. Uh, Even though Impervious is the worst, it is still better than nothing because sometimes you can get rid of the Precision Strike or the Outwit or the Exploit or the Psychic Blast, but that's a lot to get through. But Shape Change and Super Senses, I'll take that all day over 21 defense. I'll take Super Senses on a 6 and Shape Change on a 6 over a 22 defense or 20 defense.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know what else I could play.
I
Uh,
think you
on the
should play rollout on that Batman instead of increasing his defense.
Yeah,
Uh, Whether it's that sword that allows you to reroll an attack, or to get shape change, or a Wonder Woman equipment that gives you super senses on a 6.
yeah, I've got to
Just
figure out how to work 5 more points in to get any of that stuff. That's the
yeah,
issue with what I
yeah.
played tonight. Is
But I would look at maybe tweaking something to, if he's important. If, I think he is.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely important.
But yeah, I think that's important to get a rollout versus increasing his defense, which is again, maybe you just don't face those people with all that, but that's a lot to work through with all those powers that I've mentioned that can just shut down all those increased combat values. So yeah, Dark Side didn't work out in Lewis's favor in this game. You chew through that dial. It took almost a whole round, you said?
Yeah, yeah, it was the whole time. Just a couple of minutes left before we ended it. But finally was able to finish him off, and the only thing I lost in that one was the commissioner at the beginning,
Oh wow.
I believe. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? He is missing one thing. Because I'm assuming you based him a few times.
Yes, and he didn't use the knockback.
Did not use the knockback. Could he use the knockback?
Well, I don't think he is it free knockback. I
It's
don't think
not
he
free
has force
knockback. He just
blast.
has knockback. So if he hits with
Yeah,
a close range attack, he can knock back a character
yeah, he
or a
never
friendly
hit me.
character.
That was the problem.
But because he can shoot through characters, that's really good, and he can shoot through elevated, which is also very great. He can't shoot out of adjacency, and once he loses that facing teleport, he needs to be able to continue to go after the support and not the Venom Wolverine with the rollout and the 20 defense and the stop click and the healing that she does. I'm assuming that's exactly what she did. Uh, she's great. She's great. A great meat shield.
Absolutely.
So round three, you played against another person. Who was that? It was Emily,
The
the
great Emily.
Emily, the Canadian national champ,
Yeah.
2022. Great player, fun to play with, and very scary to play against too.
Yeah,
She
for sure.
she'll kill your team with a smile, and you don't know how to feel about that. So, what did
Yeah.
Emily play against you?
So she had a great team tonight too. She played Prize APOC at his 145 line with the Soul Sword. Prize Genesis at 35 with the Warlock Shape Change Sword. And then she had the Prize Saturnine and Death Metal Wonder Woman and Surtur. Like a 25-point Surtur. I was not very familiar with that figure either.
Eh, he's interesting.
Yeah.
So, what was the highlight of this game besides getting to play with Emily?
Yeah, that was probably the highlight. But yeah, that game was a lot of fun. I really had to bide my time with trying to get the chest of demons card to go off that gave me protected mystics.
Oh yeah, she's got a lot of mystics on that team.
Yes, she had a lot of mystics, so I was able to position really well early to where she was only able to land an attack on the Chase Batman. And so he just took the one click from APOC. And then I was shifted across the board and was able to take down Saturnine
Mhm.
on my turn 3, I guess. We were back on, I took her to Otherworld Castle again.
Okay.
Uh, and so got Saturnine taken down, and then it just kind of settled into a brawl. She, we were going back and forth quite a bit, not really able to land a lot on anybody. She got Destroyer in, who was taking shots around the board at people. Surtur did come in. I was able to take him down with Venom Wolverine. Um and then, I mean, like I said, we kind of just settled into an area on the map and we're just duking it out.
That's
And
Emily's preferred play style, where you just once you engage, you only one person's left standing.
yeah, I definitely made a mistake letting Destroyer stay on the board. Should have got
Mm.
him out of there.
It's always
Uh,
tough between going for destroyers, where it just goes away and don't score anything, or going after points that could matter.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I probably should have got him out of there. Probably realistically should have activated Martian Manhunter on one of those late turns, start doing some damage with him, but missed that opportunity. But I was able to get Genesis down to a KO, and then she got revived, of course, with Death Metal Wonder Woman, and just wasn't quite able to finish the job. Uh, so, but I will say overall, I think that my team in that game performed probably the best, even though it wasn't a win. I think that with a lot better positioning and a lot more practice with this team, this particular detective team could, or any detective team with, the safeguard mystics could be an issue for this prize APOC, prize Genesis.
And does that work off of Outwit or Perplex?
That's one of the perplexes. So if you could put together, you have to get 6 perplexes on opposing characters to get your safeguard mystics. So it did take. I was turn 4, I think, before I
Okay.
got it. So the game went on pretty long, and I took some mystics, waiting on the opportunity to really start trying to lay down some attacks. And so, yeah, I think if I could work out a way to get more perplex on the team,
That's
there's
actually what
there's
I'm doing right
definitely
now while I'm listening to you. I'm working and listening at the same time. And
yeah.
the first thing was like the Sinestro ring. I think that's what you need to probably look at. And I was looking at what would I switch out to help make it work. And I think I would drop even though it's super useful and I think it's great, the Catwoman Batman. I think that would be the first look to see maybe it dropping. Right now, I'm going to see what's available with the detected keyword that's 30 points or less, because you would also have to drop the Captain America shield. Like I said, the
Yeah,
that it
I
just
don't think it did anything.
it doesn't really work too well. So for 30 points or less, you have Plastic Man, which would be great for this team uh, because that equipment. Uh, wait, does he? Let me read Plastic Man real quick so I don't lie to you. Uh, when you replace a character, you drop an equipment, but if you put them on the sideline, it doesn't drop the equipment. I'm pretty sure about that. When I say pretty sure, it's more like 55%. I'm leaning
I
towards
got you.
yes, but I honestly, the other 45% is I don't know. Uh, but Plastic Man with that ring, you're never going to be able to kill that Plastic Man, and you're going to be able to shut down characters that want to get in your face or characters that want to run away. So
Yeah, for
he's
sure.
great. And there's that Robin, that Chase Robin for 25 points. Uh, did you make any range attacks in that game?
No, I don't believe I did.
Was it just because it didn't? there wasn't an opportunity, or the team's just not geared towards that?
Yeah, it's really a close combat team. Don't have a lot out there that works real well at ranged. So that's definitely a
Okay.
hole in that team.
Then we should look at the commissioner chase, who has outwit, and he can make that rookie guy who can make those range attacks, and it helps give you prob as long as he's on board. Do you have leadership on your team?
Commissioner Gordon, yep.
Okay, so you have two accesses to leadership, and you have PD, and you have wild cards on the team, and so that rookie can start making hits. And if for some reason Batman dies and you want to switch to PD and then don't have Green Lantern anymore, you have the Underworld team ability to copy from the Commissioner. And then you got all these other figures that came out from Batman Team Up that have Detective keyword. Uh,
Yeah, I really want to look at the Plastic Man for sure since it shouldn't be rotating out.
uh,
And
it shouldn't just, but it's the figure itself is old as fuck. But the objects that just came out last year, it would be a really dick move if it was kids rotated a Plastic Man and not the object. So uh, it he should he should stay for another year. And yeah, the Plastic Man I think would be a good play even if he does rotate. I think that's a great way to look at teams. It's like I know it's going to rotate next month, but it's going to kick ass at the next tournament, and people are going to be like, "Wow, wish we would have saw it sooner," or "I wish I hadn't rotated and stuff." Uh,
yeah, and I want to branch it. So specifically, I'm playing this team with figures that I physically own right now.
yeah,
And so this format will allow me, like we talked about before
hmm
the
yeah,
tournament started, try some stuff out that I may want to look at picking up.
yeah. That's what's so great about playing online. If you can help break that mentality of I only want to play figures that I own or have access to, this will help. At least at the very bare minimum, help you be aware how other characters work because you don't know what half of Caleb's team did. And maybe you can't get a Lockjaw or a Maggot or that high Evo Prime, but now you know how it works. With the Plastic Man and all the objects, that's $100 I think to get all of that together. That's not something I just want to throw down. If a Plastic Man is not my playstyle, or it sounds good on paper, but people just keep finding answers around it. And
Yeah, for
same with that
sure.
commissioner. He's like 60 or $70. So yeah, try it out and see what works for you. If having Plastic Man works better for your team, to tie people down so you can beat them up, or to have a range option with the commissioner. And you get them that perplex ring, and you can start doing more stuff with those cards.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really
That
like
really
that Plastic Man. I really like it.
it opens up too to being able to, if I don't go yellow ring, I could go red ring with Manhunter and fly around and poison. So I mean, there's
Hmm
definitely some
Absolutely.
options there if I open up some points.
It starts changing your strategy completely by just swapping something out. Maybe it's just a bad day with the Batwoman and Batman and Catwoman. Maybe it just wasn't the right matchup. Maybe the dice weren't there. Maybe the rollouts weren't there. Maybe they just got really lucky on hitting a couple of characters. And that's, uh, for me, I can't ever really judge a team on paper. I, I don't like to. I can look at it and say, yeah, that's a good figure. That's a good strategy. But uh, I I always ask people that want to play competitive or getting into competitive the same basic questions. Is uh, the first one is what do you want to do with your team? Well, actually, the first one is have fun with whatever you're playing, whatever it's same thing that everybody else says, or you want to do something a little different or completely different. Have fun with it because Every game that you're going to play, it is up to you. It- Regardless of your opponent, whether you have fun with them or they just have a bad attitude, it is always up to you to make your game as fun as it can be. And then the next step is what can this team do against the figures and teams that are already out there, everybody else is already playing with, and which ones can they beat, and which ones should I try to avoid? Or, yeah, that's my whole spiel about that. Have fun with what you're playing, and everything is playable as long as you're willing to have some acceptable losses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of potential with Detective going forward. With just, I mean, just
Yeah,
being a fun team.
yeah,
So,
it's yeah, favorite team of the night. I loved it. Thank you for coming on tonight, and I hope you're able to come on future tournaments. I don't want to rub it in your face, but since you didn't get to place tonight, you get to play again for free next time.
hey,
Uh,
that's a win. That's a
yeah,
win.
and that's what this is for. A lot of players can get discouraged playing money after money after money of 10 bucks a week. That can add up and losing and losing and losing. And so a way I wanted to help mitigate that because it's already hard for people to want to play online because you'd rather play in person.
Yeah.
This was not supposed to replace in-person play. This was supposed to help supplement it in a lot of different ways for practice, for fun games, for friends that moved, or to learn figures and see what works and what works for you. But for some people, this is all they got online play. And so I want to help engage people to try out online play because it's a lot of fun trying out different things and you get to meet a lot of really cool people and see a bunch of new and different strategies. So I hope that was the case for you tonight.
Oh, I had a blast, and I will definitely be back. I mean, it's free. Why wouldn't I come back?
Yeah.
And played with some great people tonight. And Brad, I really appreciate you putting on this tournament and inviting us newbies to partake in it.
As long as I can not get burned out, uh, and I want to grow the online community, uh, the online tournament community, because this is my home. I do have a physical store that I play at, but uh, I don't like beating up on my locals. I don't think it's fun or cool to bring my world team to Thursday night Heroclix unless everybody's gonna do that. But yeah, this is what it's for. Beat up on people that want to get beat up on. Uh, and yeah, it's fun. It's fun to punch people in the mouth, and I like getting punched in the mouth back. Maybe you will too.
Well, if that's the standard of fun, I had a blast tonight. I got punched in the mouth a lot.
I love to hear it. Thanks, Randy, for coming on, and I'll let you say goodbye to the audience.
Yeah, everybody, appreciate you listening, and hopefully I'll be back on here for some favorite teams or maybe some wins in the future. And yeah, definitely get on here and get on some of these tournaments. They're a blast. So look forward to playing with you.
And as always, we play every Friday. If you've never played before and you've never played before, it is free. And the thing I would like to end this on is I'm going to be doing a free tournament for all players on February 25th. It's free to play, the pricing is free, and the shipping is free. It's going to have a lot of expensive shit that I'm just giving away because people like free stuff, and I hope I can get some more new players to participate and engage with the awesome community like Randy got to tonight. Thank you for listening, and you all have a good night.
transmission complete.